Hi Charlene and Jenny, it's lovely to see you both here. Thanks for joining me. Just give it a few minutes till 10 o'clock so everyone can get a chance to get on. Hi Christine, good to see you. Morning Christine. Oh, thank you so much, Jenny. I appreciate that because I still to this day get nervous doing live feeds. So thank you. Hi, Mary. Good morning. Yeah, just give it a few more moments and then we'll get started. Hey, Sarah Jane. It's lovely to see you. Hope you guys are doing well. Okay, just a couple more seconds and we'll get started. I'll apologise now in case the phone rings or we get customers coming out the back to pick stuff up because we're trying to work from work today, so we might end up getting a few background noises, so sorry about that. Hi Mike.
Hi.
Nice to see you watching. Okay, right, we might get started now since we've got a few people here. So this is our layout today. Hi Joe, it's lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us. So this is our layout today, so I'm going to show you how to do these little rosettes here, and it's a very plain one this week because white space on scrapbook pages is sometimes quite nice, but if you don't like all that white space on there, you could flick some paint on there, or you could put some little bling or some sequins, or you could do anything in the background there, or you could even make more of those little rosettes and put a couple more up in the corners there. So if you don't like the whole idea of the white space on a scrapbook page, that's absolutely fine. You can just put some stuff in the background. You could cut out some more flowers from something if you want. Right, so to get started, we're actually not going to do a backing sheet on this one. This is our white cardstock is actually going to be our backing sheet this time. So I'm just going to pop this aside. And I want you to grab your 12 by 12 white piece. So don't forget, we're going to cut this border off here so it's a perfect 12 by 12. So I'll bring it over my board here. So if you want to grab your white piece and just cut it down to 12 inches so that we're cutting off that little white border there. So I have to apologise for my trimmer blades again. I still don't have any new ones, so my edges are a little bit fluffy. So while I'm defluffing my edges, you guys can carry on and just cut that down if you like. Okay, so in order to get this little bit here, we've got this little ripped out bit here, we've got another tiny bit here, and a slightly bigger one on here. So all I've done is I've just grabbed my 12 by 12 and I've just grabbed the side a little bit and I've just ripped it a little bit. So don't think about it too much, just as big or as small as you want. You don't have to be too fussy about it. So if you want to go ahead and rip those out there, I just want this edge not to be so sharp, so I'm just going to pull that down a bit. Hi Leonie, it's lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us. There we go. So I've just got that little bit there. Okay, just ripped out a bit. So I want to do another little one up the top here and another little one at the bottom. So we're just going to rip those little pieces out as well. So I want mine quite close to the edge there. There we go, so we've got one there, and I'm just going to come up and do another one, sort of a bit more to the top here. There we go. And just pull off those sharper points if you don't want those on there. There we go. Okay, so hopefully you've all done that. So we've got one at the top here, one down here, and one on that side there. So this one on the right hand side is a little bit bigger. Right, so what you want to grab now is your dotty grey paper. We're just going to cut that border off again. Hi Jocelyn, good morning to you too. So we'll put that border aside, and we might use that a bit later on something else. I never throw those away because I've got a box full of those. Right, so this piece of dotty paper, we're going to actually trim that down to 1 1/4. Sorry, wrong side of the paper. Okay, so this dot paper we're going to cut to 1 1/2 by about 11 3/4. So basically 1 1/2. So just measure across 1 1/2 and cut the right down the middle there. So just come to 1 1/2 inches. Just let me know if I'm going too fast. I can slow down if you like. So just let me know in the comments if I'm going too fast. So this piece here is going to go behind those rip pieces. So you may need maybe a 2-inch piece. I'm just going to do a little bit because I just need enough to cover over that little bit there. Good morning, Ruth. It's lovely to see you. Okay, so I'm just going to get a little bit of glue and just go around the outside here of my rip bit, and I'm just going to stick that right down so that we're going to come right up against that edge of our white so that we can see that bit of grey. So I'm not going to cut it down just yet. I'm just going to do that little bit of gluing around there. So grab some glue, just do a little bit around the outside there. Just like that. Okay, so I'm just going to bring the edge of that pattern paper up, so I'm not wasting any there, and I'm just going to bring it right up to that edge so that it's nice and even with the white bit. Sorry about the phone, everybody. Okay, right, so now that we've got that nicely lined up along that edge there, I'm just going to cut this down so it's just a little bit past where we've put our piece of paper, and I've lost my scissors. Where are they? Here they are. So I'm just going to cut that down a little bit there. Now you do have quite a lot of this paper left, so if you need to use a bit more on these side pieces, go right ahead and do it. The only other thing we're cutting out of there is a 2-inch strip down one side, so leave a 2-inch strip so that we've got enough to do our little rosette, but all this here is anything spare, so if you've made a little boo-boo or anything, you can just use the rest of that. So I'm just going to go ahead now and glue around this one here, and then I'm going to pop that one on as well. Oops. Okay. So this one again is just going to line up with the edge of the white cardstock and just stick it down there. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that last little bit off, and hopefully that's going to be enough to do my last piece down here. Ooh, it only just fits. So don't worry if you need to cut some more out, just go ahead and cut some more out. So I'm just going to put a bit more glue around here. And pop my last piece right up against the edge of that white now. Awesome. Well done, guys. So now we have the two grey pieces on the left here, and we've got the slightly bigger one on the right there. Great. So if you have a stapler now, I've actually stapled, just to give it a bit of texture, on those bits there. So I've done a few little staples there, a few little ones on that one, and a few on there. So if you've got a stapler, go ahead and grab that, and we'll just staple down there. Just randomly, you don't have to do anywhere particular. I've sort of made sure that I've gone over the grey and the white a little bit, so it looks like we've got it trying to stick there with the staples. So I'm just going to do that one down the bottom. Okay, so we've got the two up the top, two down there. Hi Debbie, it's great to see you there. I'm glad you're watching. Good on you. I hope you're sitting in the sun watching. It's a nice lovely day out there. It's lovely to have you. There we go. So I've just done a couple along here as well. Okay, so we should have all this done now. So what we're going to start on the rosettes now. So I'm just going to put this piece aside. Now on your rosettes, we're going to cut them down to the right size, but you should have 3 of these little circles in here. So these circles we need to get ready, and we're going to put some glue on them in a little while, and we need to glue them before we stick them, before we start folding up the rosette, because we really need to stick that glue down onto a rosette pretty quickly. So just grab your 3 little circles there. So how big are these? Just grab a ruler. So if you ever want to do a rosette again, these ones measure about 1.5 inches wide. So it doesn't matter exactly what size, as long as it can cover up the middle. So we grab those there. So we're going to start out with the biggest rosette, so that your grey dotty paper, and we want to cut that one down. So let me just find the measurement there. Okay, so 1.5 by 11 3/4. So we're going to cut this one down to 11.5. So 1.5. So 1.5 inches. And then we're going to turn it round so the long side's at the top of your trimmer, and we're going to bring it to 11 3/4. So almost 12 inches, but not quite. Okay, so just cut that little edge off there. So you should have a nice long strip there. Now, if you have one of these boards, they are really great for doing all the scoring that we're going to do. So if you have one of these boards, just flip this over so that you've got that edge on there. So that edge now is going to help me line up my cardstock on there, so it's nice and strong and easy. If you don't have one of these, I'll just grab another trimmer to show you how to do the scoring. So I've got one of these trimmers here. So if you've got a trimmer that just has these numbers at the top and you've got a little groove in here, I'll show you how to use that one. So I'll just move this aside for now. So if you are using one of these, you need to grab a stylus. So this is a stylus here, and that just gives you those little balls on the end there. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring it over to 1/4 inch. So here's my 1 inch, and each of these lines is 1/4. So I'm going to line it up with that 1/4 there, and I'm just going to score in there. Bring it over to the next 1/4, so 1/2 inch, score. Then 3/4 inch, and score. 1 inch, and score. So you want to score at every 1/4 inch until you get right to the very end of this piece of paper here. Okay, so... Hi Raina, so lovely to see you. Good on you. Great. Alright, so we're going to carry on doing that. So I want you to score at 1/4 inch until you get right to the end here. So that's how you use one of those boards, but I prefer this one here because we do have those score marks ready to go. So I'm just going to carry on. So if you're doing it with one of these trimmers, you're just going to do it at 1/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1. 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 1 3/4 and 2, and you're just going to carry on until you get right to the end. So we'll do that together. We do sell these boards if anyone is interested. They're $59 on our website, and we can get those ready for you. I find these boards way better than many of the others. I just love the fact that you've got a nice big area to use while you're doing any of your scoring or cutting. I love the fact that all your 1/8 of an inches are up here as well, so you don't have to really think about measuring too much. I think these are great boards. So these are just my personal preference. So we are memory keepers boards there. Okay, so just keep going along until you get to the end. If you ever find that the balls of your styluses are getting a bit sticky or a bit rough on your paper, just rub them in a bit of soap or a bit of wax, candle wax, and they just have a bit more of a better slide on them if they're getting a wee bit gritty. Nearly there. Just remember not to push too hard when you're scoring on paper, so you don't go through the paper. Here we go. How does the all-in-one board compare to this one? The all-in-one board is great. The only thing I found a little bit frustrating with the all-in-one board is that you only end up with this much of a base because the arm comes out. So you really only got like a 6-inch base for your scoring. But in saying that, you can do so much more. With that, you can do it's got a bow maker on it. It's got envelope board. It's got heaps on there. So it is still a great board. I just like this one because I've got the full 12-inch base on this one. Okay, so now that we've got all our score lines on there, we're just going to concertina fold it. So I'm going to start going backwards and then back to me. So we're just going to concertina fold this. Don't stress if it goes out of alignment a little bit. It's not a big deal. So just fold backwards and forwards until you get to the end. Give it a nice push down so you've got those score lines are nicely crisp and folded on really well there. There we go. So just keep folding it backwards and forwards. So you're ending up with this little bit of a concertina look there. So just carry on, so backwards and forwards right until the end. There we go. If this is getting a bit bulky to hold, you can let it go and just start your concertina folding again. Don't worry too much if it's not 100% even when you're folding all this up. We just basically need to fold on those score lines. So if it's a little bit wobbly, don't worry too much. See, this one's a little bit out there, but that's okay. So you can do these any size you like, any thickness or any width this way. You could do really little tiny ones if you like. The only thing I'll say is make sure you end up on when you're cutting it this way, make sure you end up on 1/4 of an inch somewhere. Because we've got 1/4 inch score lines, we need to make sure that we've got either a 1/2 or a 1/4 inch as your last measurement. Oh, if you're worried about the length of it and you're not sure how to do it, just leave it at 12 by 12. Do your score lines, fold it all up, and when we come to put it together, if it looks fine, then that's great. If you need to cut 1/4 of an inch off, just go ahead and cut a little bit off. It's a bit of a fiddly, like it's a little bit of a trial and error thing. Like I did this one twice before I got my measurement there, but we got there in the end. So how's everyone going with their folding? Okay, so I'm just going to fold it all up, and then I'm going to give it a good squeeze so we get all those score lines nice and crisp there. There we go. So how's everyone going? You got that there? So you should end up with a nice little concertina fold there. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to fold it in like that, and this little edge here we're going to glue to that edge there so it makes a nice circle. So if you want to go ahead and put a bit of glue there. Here we are. If you haven't got glue, tape is fine, don't worry about that, that's all good, but I just prefer glue because it's a bit stronger for this. So I'm just going to glue it together so that we've now got a circle on there like that. Okay, so I'm just going to move my board now. So this is where we now need to get one of our circles ready. So we're just going to leave our little concertina circle there. I'm going to put quite a bit of glue on the back of this, doesn't matter which side because you're not actually going to see it. So put quite a bit of glue on there. So I've got quite a lot on there. So I'm just going to put that down and have that ready to go. So while we've got this now, the way I like to do this is I like to push it in the middle, but it's a lot better if you're using a surface that is a bit slippery. So if I was doing this on paper, it probably wouldn't, it's going to be a bit more sticky to push down, so it's going to be a bit harder to push down. So if you've got a slightly slipperier surface or like a bench top or something, go do that, that's great. So all we're going to do is we're just going to push that middle piece in, and we're just going to push it down into the center like that. Okay, so give that a try, and I'll give you all a few seconds just to give that a try. So it's just sitting up like this, and I'm just going to push the center into the middle and push it down onto my table. Okay, so that you've got this little tiny circle in the middle. Okay, so what we're going to do now is once you've got that, we're going to flip it over to the back. We're going to hold it in place, and this glued piece we're going to stick right over that hole, and we're just going to hold it there for a few moments to make sure it sticks. So if you're having trouble, let me know, and I can go back through it and show you again. Hey Sue, that's so lovely to see you. Hope you're all doing well up there. Okay. Right, so that's our little rosettes. So they're actually not as hard as they look sometimes. They're quite fun. Okay, so now we're going to go on and do the other two rosettes. So we want to cut this dotty pink one down now. So this one we're going to cut to measure 1 1/4 by 10 3/4. So I'll just put that rosette away up there. Grab my trimmer. Alright, now because I'm cutting, I want to flip this over again so I don't have that edge on there. So I'm going to flip that over, and that little edge is going to slot into that groove there. So now I can do my cutting again. So this one, what did I say? It needed to be 1 1/4 by 10 3/4. So you got heaps left over to try doing some more with that paper if you like. So we've got everything we need out of that grey, so you can play around with the grey one. You've got a bit more there if you want to try and do another one. So this one is 1 1/4 by 10 3/4. So we're going to bring it up to 10 3/4. There, and just cut that piece there off. Okay. Right. How's everyone going? You all good? Okay. So I'm just going to flip this over again, and I'm going to do my scoring on my 1/4 inches again. So no matter what thickness you've got on for your rosette, you always do it at 1/4 inch marks. So I'm going to push it up against there. Grab my stylus. The board actually does come with a stylus, so it actually slots in under here. So if you're interested in buying one, these are really great. I do recommend them. Okay, so we're just going to score on every 1/4 inch again. So 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1. Okay, so we're going to have those 1/4 inch marks there. Okay, so just carry on doing that right to the end. So 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 2 3/4, and 2. So just carry on with that till you get right to the end. Please let me know if I'm going too fast for anybody. I will slow down a bit if I am. Okay, so we're nearly to the end there. You're doing great, everybody. And it's so lovely to have you all joining me today. Wouldn't be much fun if I was doing this on my own. Okay, last one. Okay, how's that, everyone? Okay, so we've got our score lines on there. So when you're ready, just go ahead and start concertina folding that backwards and forwards. I'm just going to get the fluff off the side of my paper here because my trimmer's blade is so bad. So go ahead and carry on scoring if you're still doing that, and then when you finish scoring, you're just going to fold those backwards and forwards like we did to the last one. There we go. Okay, so just backwards and forwards again on those score lines. Hi Megan! Oh, I miss you so much, sweetheart. I'm so glad you're watching today. I hope you're feeling better. She's had a very sore tooth and had to try and get to a dentist, which hasn't been easy through the lockdown. So lovely to see you. Okay, so we're just going to carry on concertina folding that right to the end, so backwards and forwards. No, thanks, Karen. Actually, Megan's done another tutorial for the... Sorry, for the butterfly. I couldn't remember what it was. So Megan's done another origami for a beautiful little butterfly, and it's actually very easy. So we'll post that up on our Facebook page today, along with this one as well. So if you want to see any tutorials that we've done in the past, just go to YouTube and type in Craftables NZ, and we've got a channel there, and you can subscribe, hit the bell, and we will notify you when we have new videos up. So we'll put Megan's little butterfly one up this afternoon for you. Okay. Sorry about the phone, everyone. Alright, so we've got that concertina folding done again. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to overlap on there, on one of those there with the glue, so that we have a circle again. So just a little bit of glue on there again. There we go. Alright, so just glue that down onto there. Just give it a few seconds to catch on there and dry a little bit so it's not going to fall off. I'm just going to move my trimmer. Okay, so now don't forget we've got to get our circle ready and all glued up. So make sure you get quite a bit of glue on there. Don't be too shy with it. Because you've got to remember when we're gluing onto this, it's actually only catching on these ridges. It's not gluing anywhere else. So we do need quite a bit of glue on there. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that there. So what we're going to do, slippery surface, we're going to push it into the center and then push it down onto the table so it goes nice and circular. Okay, so we're just going to flip that over so that on the back now, we're just going to keep it nice and tightly closed in that circle. Grab your glued piece of paper and pop that on the back. So just push it all in again to make sure it's nice and hard in the middle there. So we're just going to hold that down for a second. Okay. Right, so flip it back over, make sure it's all pushed in nicely into that center. So that's your second one done. So we're just going to go ahead and do the last one, which is a little bit smaller. So you should, in your kit, you should have a little piece of a strip of card. It's sort of like a bit of a greeny mottled colour on there. So that one we're going to cut down to 1 inch by 10 3/4. So I'm just going to flip that over so I can cut again. So 1 inch along here. So you've got another 1 inch piece there you can have a play with later if you like to do some more. And then, what was it, 10 3/4. Okay, so again we're going to go ahead and score that at 1/4 of an inches right until we get to the end. So if you want to go ahead and do 1/4 inch score lines all the way down there. I'm just going to defluff my sides again. Hello Lynn, it's lovely to see you. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so don't forget we're doing the 1/4 inch score lines now until you get right to the very end there. Can't wait to get my new blades. They're getting so bad. Alright, so I'm going to flip my board over so I can do my scoring. Push it right up against there hard and then score at every 1/4 of an inch. I hope you're all doing okay. It's great news to hear that we have no more cases in Tauranga, which is wonderful news. And I hope everybody's staying a bit sane in your bubbles, and hopefully we go to level 2 soon. And then we can start socialising a bit more. We're not sure what we're going to do with the classes yet. We still have to keep everybody a metre apart, so we're not quite sure how we're going to do that yet, because that means we can only fit about 5 or 6 people in the classroom at a time. So we'll let you know. We just have to have a think about it this weekend. So hopefully we can start them up again, and we'll do our absolute best that we can do that. But for just at the moment, Mike and I are just going to have a chat with everybody else and see how we can work it out logistically in the classroom, because it's not a huge classroom, so just need to make sure you all stay safe. Okay, so I've got all my score lines. Oh, excuse me. I've got all my score lines on there, so I'm just going to concertina fold them backwards and forwards to the end again. You're nearly there, everyone. You're doing really, really well. Okay, nearly there. Okay. We've had a lot of people on our Craft Amenities Facebook page. It's been great seeing everything you guys have been doing. I just love seeing what you've been up to. I will put some more videos up for some more free classes, some more card and scrapbooking classes. It's just we had so many orders to get out this last couple of weeks that we just wanted to focus on that. So now that we've sort of started to catch up with that, I'll start doing a few more free classes on our Facebook page as well. Okay, so I hope everyone's got their concertina folding done. So just give it a nice squash down so we get those nice crisp score lines onto there. And then again, we're just going to open it up, put a little bit of glue on this piece here, and we're just going to make it into a circle again. Let's just glue that onto that side there. Hi Jackie, it's lovely that you could join us. We have a card making live feed this afternoon, so if you want to join us at 1 o'clock this afternoon, we're doing a live feed for the card class that we're doing as well. Okay, so there's our circle again. Just going to move my trimmer out of the way. Okay, so we're going to get our circle again, and we're going to put some glue on there just to get it nice and ready to go. And it also, when doing this, also just gives you glue a tiny bit of chance to sort of get a bit tacky before we stick it down as well. So don't forget, get lots of glue on there because we want to really stick it down. So push it into the center and then push it down on your sliding surface there. So you could have this side, you could have that green side with the dots on if you want, or you can have the slightly paler side. Totally up to you. You can do the same on these ones if you want, do different sides if you want. So I'm just going to push it down in the center. Actually, I might do the dark greens. I might do the side with the dots on. So push it in the center, flip it over, and put your circle on there. Okay, so just hold it there for a moment. Oh, I'm so glad you like it, Karen. It was one of our goals. Actually, Kayla came up with the idea, my daughter, of doing a craft communities page, and I'm so glad she did because it's kept us all connected through the lockdown, and I've seen so many amazing projects. You guys are awesome. Hi Lynn, you're very welcome. I'm so glad you got it. We've been a bit worried about how much the couriers are having to take on at the moment, so I'm so glad you're getting your parcels. They are taking a bit longer than normal. But okay, so now we have our 3 little rosettes there. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually cut out a white piece of card for our photo mat now. So you've got a, let's see, we've got a A4 piece of card in your kit there. So we're just going to cut this one down to 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. Yeah, I love the rosettes too, Rona. I think they're really lovely as something a little bit different. And you can use up scrap straps of paper, which is really good. Okay, so 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and that's going to be your photo mat for a 4 by 6 photo. So cut that out there. Now, before we carry on, when I did my page, and I'll be able to show you on this one, I didn't put anything under there except for foam tape. And I don't know if you can see, but it's sort of dipping. Whoops. It's sort of just doing a little bit of that curling, dipping part there. So what I thought we could do is with the chipboard that you have in there, I'm just going to actually pop that onto the back. And I'm just going to give that a bit more stability with that on the back so that when we put the photo on, it's not going to dip in the middle because we've got those really high rosettes that we're trying to put the photo over. So I'm just putting that backing on there just as a bit more of a stability thing so that my photos don't fall down in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some tape on there, pop it onto your chipboard there. And then if you need to, just cut it down so it's nice so you don't see any of that chipboard along the edges there. So I'm going to use tape for that, but glue is fine as well. I just prefer tape when I'm putting bigger sizes down because it doesn't buckle so much as sometimes glue can do. So I'm just going to go around all 4 sides. There we go. Okay. Right, so go ahead and pop it onto your chipboard there. Oh, thank you, Karen. We think of all of you guys as part of our family. You've all been so amazing. I mean, I got these flowers today, which I thought we'd put in by one of my card making ladies that comes on Saturday, and it was just so lovely. It's just, you guys are all so amazing, and we miss you all so much. Okay. Oops. I'm just going to get my trimmer out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is just going to go onto your chipboard. And if you need to, just trim it down a little bit. So I'm going to trim mine down a little bit there so I can see just a tiny bit of that there. So I'm just going to use my scissors and trim it down a wee bit. Okay, so this photo mat's going to fit a 6 by 4 on there. If you wanted to put more photos on, go ahead. by all means go ahead. You don't need to just stick to one on that one. You would just need to make sure that you've got your photo mat ready to go so we can help it with the placement on our page. Okay, so that's a bit thicker now and a bit more sturdy. So what we're going to use that for is just a guide to where we want to put our rosettes now. So if you want to grab the piece that you did earlier with the dots on it, what we're going to do is I want mine to be right in the middle. So I'm not going to stick it down just yet. I'm just going to pop it there for now. And now I'm just going to find where I want to put my rosette. Excuse me. Put my rosettes. So I want to put one there. I'm going to put one up in the corner there, and I'm going to put one down in this corner here. So now I've got that placement. I'm going to very carefully lift that off, and I'm just going to put a pencil mark where I want that one to go. So just roughly put a pencil mark there. Okay, and I'm going to put quite a bit of glue on that circle on the back because I really want it to stick down. So quite a bit of glue on there. Hi Wendy, it's lovely to see you. And then we're just going to stick that piece where our dot is there, okay? So we're just going to pop that there. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is this one. So I'm just going to get a pencil, put a bit of a mark there where I want it to go, put a bit of glue on the back there. If anyone does want to join our Craft Communities page, you just need to go onto your Facebook feed and then go hit the magnifying glass and type in Craftables, Craft Immunity, and it will come up with our page Craft Immunity. So you just need to click just click on there and we'll accept you, and then we can show you guys can start sharing all of your cool, amazing creations you've been doing. So just look up Craft Immunities and click on there. Great. Hi Juanita, so lovely to see you. Okay, so we're just going to put another mark under this one here so we know where we want to glue it. Pop quite a bit of glue on and then pop it down onto your layout. So don't forget, if you don't like all that white space, then fill it up with some paint splatters, which you would need to do before you put these down. If you don't want to do paint splatters, you can do bling, you can do pearls, you can do little sequins. Lots of little things you can do to fill up that white space if you don't like that. Right, so make sure that's all in the right place. So there we go. Now we've got these pieces that we've cut out. So hopefully you've pre-cut these out. So what we're going to do is we're just going to glue these down now into the spaces up here and along the sides here. So this little guy here, this is a Uniquely Creative paper. Beautiful papers. We're getting new collections of these in very, very soon, which we'll put up on our website. Beautiful, beautiful papers. So this is just off one of their papers. So I want to hold this one aside for later because I want to put him right down the bottom over my photo there. Okay, so we're going to grab this one here and we're just going to pop that one on there. So I just want to pop it underneath my circles there a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that. Before I do, I'm just going to make sure I want to see most of my flower there. So use your photo mat to position your flowers. There we go. So again, I'm just going to lift that up a little bit, put a pencil mark, and then put some glue on the back. And we do have more of the art glitter glue coming in soon, so if anyone wants to purchase that, go onto our website and do it. It's great, great glue. I love this stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that on there like that. Just make sure it's in the right place before it glues too much. Might bring it down a wee bit there. Here we are. Okay, so we want to put the other one down along this side here. So this one here, I'm just going to poke in just under there like that. So again, I'm just going to grab a pencil, pop a mark on there just so I know where to put it. Slather up the glue again. And then just pop that one down there. So I'll just grab my photo mat again. Here we are. I'm doing layouts, I actually use my photo mat a lot as a guide to where I want to put stuff on my page. So this often for me is the last thing to go down. Great. Right, so now we can actually put this piece down. Now because our rosettes are a little bit higher than normal, I'm going to put 2 thicknesses of foam tape around there. Right, so we're just going to pop some foam tape around there, so 1 layer around there first. So go around all 4 sides. So you do use a little bit of foam tape for this. If you don't want to use this much, you could just do the corners and a little bit in the middle there. You could use the 6mm tape, which is fine. So we do need to have 2 layers because we want it to stand up over the top of those rosettes. Okay, so we've got 1 thickness on there now. So I'm just going to take the top off and put another thickness over the top of those. Okay, so just grab your foam tape and we're just going to put it right over the top again. So we've got 2 thicknesses there now. Along there. If you want to save on your foam tape and you've only got the 12mm, just cut it down in the centre there so it's a 6mm then, and then you're going to save quite a bit of foam tape doing it that way too. There we go. Alright, so we now have 2 layers of foam tape around all the sides now. Okay. Alright, so that now can go down there. So it is gonna stick up quite a way, but that's fine. It will flatten down a little bit as your pages go on top of each other then. Okay, so just pop that down there, and that's going to give you a really nice sturdy base for your photo now. Great! Nearly there, we've just got one more thing to do. Alright, so this one now is going to go just in the bottom corner here. So again, I'm just going to put a bit of tape up here because I want that to go flat onto my photo here. But this bottom piece down here needs to have 2 layers of foam tape again. So I'm just going to cut up little bits of foam tape. Pop it along there like that. Oops. Don't be too fussy about how it goes on. Nobody's going to see it. Okay, so I do want to put a little bit of normal tape, just normal tape at the top there. So I'm just going to do that, because that one there is going to go flat onto our photo mat. Now if you don't have a photo, don't put tape on there just yet so you can slip your photo underneath. So I'm just going to peel the tops off, and I'm going to put another layer of foam tape on the top of those. So the reason we're doing 2 on this piece is because we've got 2 on this one here on our photo mat there, so we want it to stand up nicely on there. And the last one. Okay. Alright, so I'm just going to pop that down there like that now. Lovely! Great job, everybody! Okay, so now, if you wanted to put pearls or sequins or bling on there, just do random ones on there. I like to keep them in kind of groups of 3s, but it's totally up to you how you like the look of that. So that's the layout there. Now on my original layout, I've got these little pieces of little strips of white card there. Now the reason I put that on is because that's where you're going to do your journaling. So you could do little strips. These are 1/4 inch strips, so they're 1/4 inches by whatever length you want to do. You could do a few of those and put them down and then write your journaling on there. Or if you've got a computer and a printer, you can write your journaling on your computer, print it out, and then cut them into little strips and put them down there. So that piece there is for your journaling. Now the last thing we've got is our thankful. So we're just going to pop our thankful onto there. So I'm just going to put mine here, but we do need to put 2 foam layers under this one again because we've got that thickness there. So just 2 thicknesses of foam tape again, so just little pieces this time. Even that's too big, so I might put that down a wee bit more. So I'm going to put 2 layers on there, so we've got 1 there and then another one on the top there. So just carry on and do that along there. So just little pieces, you don't need them too big. Okay, so just on that one there, and again another one on the top. I haven't put anything on the T because my T is going to go onto here, and then this is going to go off to the side. So I've left my T blank. I'm just going to keep going and put some more on there like that. And I'm just going to do another tiny, tiny one up here. Okay. Right, so we're just going to put those down there. So again, if you don't have a photo, leave this empty so that you can slot it underneath. If you have got a photo on there, then you can go ahead and put your tape on. So I'm just going to have that off the side a little bit there. Here we go. All done. Hope you managed to keep up okay. Please let me know if I'm going too fast. I get a bit carried away with myself sometimes. So thank you so much for joining me, but before I go, I want to just give you a little show and tell of what we're going to do in the next 2 weeks for our scrapbooking classes. So I'm going to put that aside and I'll show you what we're doing. So next week, this is our page for next week. So we have these kits up on the website. You can order them now and we'll send them out on Monday for you. So this one you can fit tons and tons of papers in, photos in. So this one here opens up, and then you have all these pieces in there. So it folds down and opens up, and I'll show you how to put that into your album sleeve as well. So you actually can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 photos onto this layout. So you get a ton of stuff in there. So I thought if you wanted to, you could actually use this one as a quarantine, what you got up to in quarantine photo, sort of like a little album photo page sort of thing. So you can get a lot of photos on there. Yeah, I'll show you how to put it into your sleeve. And if you next week, if you want to do this kit with me, we're doing this one next Saturday morning. So this one has got a lot of different things. It's an interactive one, lots of fun to do. If you do want this kit, just order it on our website. We'll get them out to you as soon as we can. We are also wanting you to make sure that if you want to do this page and you want to see how we put it into the photo sleeve, just make sure you have a photo sleeve with you as well. Okay, so that's next week's one. The week after that is this one here. So we've got a beautiful purple page again. So this one you can get quite a few photos on as well. So these actually lift up. So you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 there. So we can get quite a few photos on that one as well. So that one is the week after, so if you buy both of the kits, you can actually get the shipping a bit cheaper, because then you've got 2 kits in one lot of shipping. They do come with full colour instructions as well, so if you can't get onto the live feeds or you don't want to try and keep up or anything like that, we do have the videos available later on our YouTube channel, Craftables NZ, or you can just use the instructions that we're showing in the paper instructions there. So this one here is for next week. It's opening and shutting there, so I'll show you how to do all that. This one is the week after, so we have a flip fold one here as well. I will show you how to put this into a sleeve as well, so make sure you have a sleeve for this one as well. So yeah, there we go everybody. Thank you so much for joining me again. So great to see everybody here and joining us and going along with us. Love having you guys along. So don't forget to like our Craft Communities page so you can put up your little bits and pieces on there so we can see what you're up to. Thanks so much everyone. Have a lovely day and we'll see you next week. Bye.